Welcome back, Bluegrass Sports fans, to Bluegrass Sports Podcast, episode number 5. And today we're going to be talking about March Madness because it's March.
It's March.
It's March. So I'm Drew Keesee.
I'm DJ Wright, University of Louisville analyst.
I'm Tyler Cade, University of Kentucky analyst.
And we're going to be covering the Bluegrass sports teams, baseball and basketball. We're going to do a quick run through of baseball, what happened this week with the final scores. Then we're going to do a deep dive into the conference play and the NCAA basketball tournament. So I'm going to start out with baseball, do a quick little run through. Murray State Racers, they started off their week hot against Kentucky State University. They won that game 26-2. Much expected win out of the Racers. Way to win by 24 runs. That's pretty impressive. Going into the weekend series, they played Lindenwood at Lindenwood. They dropped their Friday game 0-4, so 0-4. You got the Saturday game. It was a 3-1 win for the Racers. And then the Racers got shut out in the Sunday game 0-4. And looking ahead, they have Middle Tennessee at Middle Tennessee on Tuesday. And then they play – I'm just going to say Val because I can't pronounce that school. They play Val on their weekend series, and this will be at Val's in Evansville, Indiana. They play on March 20th through the 22nd, Friday through Sunday, so we'll keep you all updated on socials. By the way, our socials are BGS Podcast.
BG Sports Podcast.
BG Sports Podcast. That's right. BG Sports Podcast. I apologize. And we are everywhere on Spotify, iTunes, iTunes radios, Apple.
It's Apple Podcast, Spotify,
Right.
iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, Instagram, X, Twitter, Threads, TikTok. Yes, those are all 10 platforms that we're on.
So, yeah, those are – I'm glad they got that figured out. I'm still learning myself. But we'll be posting final scores on there, so make sure to follow us and subscribe. We appreciate that. And diving into EKU baseball, this past week they took a big loss to Middle Tennessee, 0-17. This was at Middle Tennessee. This is not what you want to see out of the Kerns, but – for the weekend series, they did win the series against Central Arkansas, another high-scoring game. They played Friday, March 13th against Central Arkansas. They lost 12-16. The bats were rolling for both sides, but they did win the next two games. They won Saturday and Sunday, the Saturday score being 16-3, way to kill them, basically. And then for the Sunday game, they won 6-5. That was more competitive. So looking into the future, they have Tennessee at Tennessee. Tennessee's not playing the greatest, but I do think Tennessee will win this game against the Kerns. And then for their weekend series, they play at Northern Alabama. So like I said, we'll be posting scores for EKU Kerns baseball and keep up with them on our socials. Down into WKU, it looks like they played Indiana State to start out they played Indiana State this Sunday, and they won 7-4. They didn't have a weekday game. They dove into their weekend series against FIU, and they won their Friday game 15-4. It's 7-inning run rule. The Saturday game was a 5-4 win, and their Sunday game was a 9-3 win. So the Tops swept their weekend series, so congratulations to them. It looks like looking ahead at their schedule, Wednesday they have Belmont on their weekday game. This will be in Nashville. And then for the weekend series, they'll be playing Jacksonville State. So we'll keep you updated on that. And now, Louisville baseball. To start out their week, they played Marshall, and they beat Marshall 16-5, run rule, 7 innings. Really impressive by the Cards. They also played Marshall again, 18-8, also run ruled them in 7 innings. That's 2 run rules in 7 innings. For their series against Notre Dame, they took the win on that series. They played Notre Dame on Friday. They lost 11-14. They played them Saturday. They beat them 8-7. And then Sunday, which would be today, they beat Notre Dame 21-12. big win for the Cards. Way to win the series. Looking ahead, they play NKU. This will be in Louisville, Jim Patterson Stadium. They play at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. And then for their weekend series, they play Notre Dame. So we'll keep you updated on the Cards and see how they go. And then for Kentucky baseball, they have been on a roll. The ranked Batcats. They started out their week playing Ball State. They won that game 10-3 on Tuesday. And then they just swept Alabama in Lexington. The Friday game, they won 7-4. The Saturday game, they won 8-7. And the Sunday game, they won 6-4. So good job and congratulations to the Batcats for getting that weekend series sweep, opening conference play sweep. And then for this upcoming week, they play Tuesday against Marshall at 2 o'clock. And then they have their weekend series that actually starts on Thursday against Ole Miss at Ole Miss. So they play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll keep you updated on the Batcats and just keep, like I said, follow our socials to keep updated on the baseball teams in the Bluegrass. And, yeah, we'll just keep you updated. So now we're going to move on to basketball because it's March and it's time to talk about basketball. I'm going to hand it over to DJ. DJ, kind of talk about what happened with Louisville in the conference play in basketball and give us a rundown of what happened.
Okay, so Louisville played Wednesday, March 11th versus SMU and took the W. Louisville won 62-58 in a close game. Honestly, too close. It was very sloppy to start off. SMU was playing very physical with Conwell, which is the reason why Conwell only scored 16 points this game. Wasn't his normal outcome, wasn't his normal points. But overall, Louisville missed 11 straight threes in the first quarter, which definitely is a reason why Louisville only won by 4. Jerron Pierre went 5 for 5 from 3 in the first half. So he had 15, which Louisville didn't really defend well in the first half, which was almost a downfall to the Cards. And luckily enough, Louisville could pull it out in the second half and close it up and finally get the dub with a couple guys, I believe, getting hurt with a guy on SMU got hurt with 1 minute and 51 seconds left to slow down the clock, almost changed the pace of the game, which almost cost the Cards the game. But overall, the Cards pulled it out on top and got the W that game. But the main game that we want to go into is the Miami game. So Louisville came into this tournament without Mikael Brown, once again, which we knew from the start. We knew he wasn't going to come in because
was it back spasms or is it back injury?
Some type of back injury, which I had previously talked about, and it was around the North Carolina game. I believe they were really weary about it, which limited his minutes in some of the other games after that. But
his goal was to sit out ACC tournament to get in March.
Yes,
correct.
Yeah. Do we know any updates?
At the moment, no. I haven't heard anything, read up on anything at the moment. They haven't put anything out, at least.
My prediction, I feel like he's going to be okay for the NCAA tournament. Yeah. I feel like the whole reason why he set the ACC tournament, because you knew Duke was the powerhouse in that tournament, the conference tournament, and you didn't want to try to hurt your superstar even more, knowing you don't have the greatest odds to win it. So I feel like Louisville did the right thing in saving their superstar, and I feel like Mikael Brown will play, but I don't know anything. Don't take that saying I'm an insider or anything. That's just my prediction. I think he will play.
Continuing on with this Miami game, Ryan Conwell went 1 for 10 from 3, had 22 this game, closed out Louisville almost entirely from 3-point, I will say. A lot of guys actually getting injured within this game, including 3 guys, actually, McKinley, Rogers, and Hadley. So McKinley going down earlier on within the game, collided with Hadley and I'm pretty sure it was on maybe a slip screen. SMU was maybe calling a screen. No, I think Louisville was on offense when this happened, and they collided. McKinley went down. I believe it was a shoulder problem, rotator cuff, that they end up fixing later into the game. He was able to, luckily enough, come back, and I'm glad to see that he was doing his thing. But also too, it looked like he was playing it off. He was definitely a little bit of a flopping in that play, but glad he was still able to come back. And then Rogers with a split lip, going after a turnover. A guard that came in for Mikael Brown, a guard that came in hot, and he's agile, quick. He can get to the basket, make good decisions quick. And then as well as Hadley, who Hadley got poked in the eye later in the game, which set him out for a little bit. But we had three of our starters that we had missed for more than 5+ minutes in the game, which overall led to, actually, I would almost say 10, which overall led to Louisville's downfall in this game. I'll go on to more player stats. Javon Hadley actually had a really good game, 7 for 12 with 19, 6 boards. McNeely, he didn't get much, obviously, with the hurt rotator cuff. He had 6. He went 2 for 8. Adrian Woolley, 2 for 5, 4 boards, 5 points. Then off the bench, Roos had 11, and Sierra Jaffrou actually went 3 for 3. Well, 3 for 3, and then he'd scored 8. So overall, Louisville had played well, decently actually in the paint, but missed a lot of threes. Same in the SMU game. So we've seen Louisville miss a lot of threes in these past 2 games, which has led to Louisville not scoring a lot of points. And actually in the SMU game, Louisville had scored the least amount of points in the first half that they have scored all season, which I believe was like 29, 26. So it was a very, very sad case for the Cards to lose against Miami. But we'll carry it on, and we'll move on to Kentucky and see what Kentucky had going on this week.
So Kentucky plays on a Wednesday for the first time ever in the SEC tournament. But, I mean, that's not saying much considering Kentucky just expanded to 16 teams, creating the Wednesday, which that's a whole different story. Anyways, Kentucky plays first round against LSU, comes in as a number 9 seed in the SEC. Maybe that's a sign. I'm just joking. Shooting for number 9. Anyways,
Kentucky fans
plays,
would like that for sure.
Yeah. Kentucky plays number 16 LSU on Wednesday. They pull that one out. And can we call this the Brandon Garrison game? I mean, look, it's
very
surprising. Brandon Garrison comes off the bench 26 minutes, right? He puts up 17 points, goes 7 for 9 from the field. Most important thing here, 2 for 3 from 3. That's
you never see that.
That's 67% from 3 from Brandon Garrison.
Yeah.
5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Man, I mean, great game from him. We hope to see this in March from a guy like Brandon Garrison, coming off the bench, coming in strong. Malachi Marino didn't play the best, so Garrison stepped up. Typical Otega Owe game with 23 points, 8 for 19 from the field. He played 39 minutes, 1 minute short of playing a full game, which I think that was important, very important for Kentucky. He had 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal. So great assist to turnover ratio. Well, sort of, with having 1 turnover, you're bound to have 1. So, let's look at Colin Chandler. Didn't shoot the greatest, went 1 for 5 from 3, but still went 3 for 8 from the field with 8 points. So not bad of a game from him. At Denzel Aberdeen, he put up his stats, also went 1 for 5 from 3. So not the best shooting performances from our starters. 1 for 2. Malachi Moreno didn't shoot any. Colin Chandler went 1 for 5. Owe went 0 for 3. Denzel Aberdeen went 1 for 5 from 3. So very off shooting performance. You know, the guy with the most three-pointers made from Kentucky in that game was actually Brandon Garrison. Like, can you believe that? Hey,
I can't.
actually, looking at the stat line, he was tied for most in the game. Most three-pointers made with 2. He tied Max McKinnon on LSU.
If you told me to guess one player on Kentucky's roster that would have that stat line, no disrespect to Brandon Garrison, but he would probably be my last pick when it comes to that. So props to him. He did good that game.
Yeah, very good. You know, Cam Williams made a comeback. You know, he shot 1 for 3 from 3, which, you know, had very limited minutes, 17 minutes, just coming back. Literally, this was his first game. So Mark Pope stated that he didn't have a single formal practice before the game. He hopped straight into the game, not knowing what it would look like. So props to Cam Williams for going out there and fighting. Now, Kentucky – hold on now. I have the wrong game pulled up for Missouri and Kentucky. Let me see if I can get the right one. Because I have regular season game. I don't know why. Anyways, Kentucky took the win over Missouri. When was this? There it is. Okay. Kentucky takes the win over Missouri, 78-72. Now, Owe, you know, had a typical Otega Owe game with 21 points. He went 2 for 6 from 3, 9 for 18 from the field. Aberdeen steps up with 16 points, 1 for 4 from 3, 4 for 12 from the field, but 7 for 8 from free throw. So really locked in on his free throws, which was key. 7 assists, so huge assist ratio for Denzel Aberdeen, which was great. You know, I feel like he needed momentum going into Florida, which we'll talk about in a second. Colin Chandler, he actually went 2 for 3 from 3, 15 points, 5 for 6. Malachi Moreno had a pretty decent game, 7 points, 2 for 4 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 3 for 4 from free throw, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, only 1 turnover and 3 blocks. So solid game from Malachi Moreno. That's what you're hoping for. Unfortunately, Brandon Garrison didn't have any points, didn't even shoot a shot. He had 1 rebound and 4 blocks. 4 blocks from Brandon Garrison. So I won't say on the defensive end, you know, he was there, but didn't shoot a shot that game. You know, maybe Missouri just guarded him from 3 that game, so he didn't get any open looks.
Maybe.
They saw what he did. Yeah, they looked at the stat line the game before and saw that he was the best shooter on Kentucky.
They only watched one game of tape.
Yeah, even though they played him in the regular season. But yeah, Yelovich didn't play the best, 0 for 3 from 3, but you're going to have those performances. He had 6 points, so he still got some buckets in the paint, 6 rebounds, which is great for him, 1 assist, 1 steal, 0 turnovers, which amazing performance from Yelovich considering he kind of turns the ball over a little bit. Diabate with 9 points off the bench with 20 minutes. He went 3 for 5 from the field, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. So great game from him. Cam Williams also played 13 minutes in this game, had 3 points, went 1 for 2 from 3. So shot 50% from 3. And that's really all that he did. He's more of a defensive threat, on-ball threat for Kentucky. So Kentucky pulls that win away 78-72 over the Missouri Tigers. Moving on to the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament, Kentucky took on the Florida Gators and took the loss 63-71. Now, this was a very off game for Otega Oweh. It was very clear Florida's game plan going into this game was guard Otega Oweh. Do not let him get into the paint like he typically does every game. And it worked great for Florida. You know, this Florida team it's a huge team. Almost 4 7-footers on the court at all times, which is hard to get into the paint against. So you're gonna have to shoot threes, which
Right.
Kentucky tried, but they weren't falling.
Mhm.
Now, Aberdeen had to step up this game. He had 17 points, 2 for 5 from 3. Now, one thing I'll say is I'd like to see Aberdeen more aggressive. Like he played in the final 3 minutes of that game, right? So he played more aggressive, but throughout the first half of the game, it wasn't – you could tell he wasn't as aggressive. And
Mm-hmm.
I think he needs to play like he's playing in the final 3 minutes. Like, we got to win this game. We got to win this game. That I think he needs – I won't say he needs to because, you know, Mark Pope has his own game plan, you know, tells his players how he wants them to think during the game, you know. But it just seems like he plays better in those situations.
Right.
But Diabate stepped up this game. He went 2 for 3 from 3. He had 14 points, 5 for 7 from the field, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 offensive rebound, which is good. He was actually the second highest scorer this game. Otega Oweh only had 10 points, 0 for 5 for 18 from the field. Like I said, it was a very off game for him, which you could tell Florida's defense was strictly guard Otega Oweh. Guard Otega Oweh, guard Otega Oweh. That was their main focus. And then once the ball got passed around the three-point line, shots weren't falling. So Florida gets the rebound. They go down the court. They shoot a shot. If they miss, they're going to have 3 guys there to rebound. Florida's main thing is if you miss, grab the offensive rebound. And unfortunately,
Kentucky got out-rebounded by probably 20 or 30 rebounds that game. So
yeah.
I don't think any team would win a game if you're losing the board battle by that much. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Let's see. Yeah. Florida had 50 rebounds. You want to know how many Kentucky had?
It was in the 20s, wasn't it?
29.
Yeah,
now,
so
let's look at offensive rebounds. We have 18 compared to Kentucky's 8. You're not going to win a game giving up 10 offensive rebounds, 10 more offensive rebounds.
Yep. Yeah, I just think it's pretty funny, honestly, how obviously when you think about Kentucky's lineup, the first people you think of are the main 3. You think of Otega Oweh, you think of Colin Chandler, you think of Denzel Aberdeen. But in the conference games, so the first conference game, Brandon Garrison stepped up. And then the game against Florida, Mo Diabate stepped up. Nobody knew that would happen. Florida wouldn't even thought that would happen, but it happened. They kind of kept Kentucky in the game because, like you said, Ty, their main focus was to stop Oweh, so you kind of have to look at other options on the team. If Mo Diabate didn't have that kind of game, I don't think Kentucky competes or gets that close to winning in that game.
I don't think they are. And I have one thing to mention. In the SEC tournament, Arkansas takes the victory, takes the championship for the SEC, which was obviously Kentucky's former coach, Coach John Calipari. So
congratulations to him. And that's never an easy thing to do, especially a second-year coach at a new school.
Definitely. There's a lot of mixed feelings going around Kentucky. You know, some bitter Kentucky fans, some maybe excited for their former coach, you know. can't change what he did at the University of Kentucky. He definitely accomplished a lot of things. Put up a banner, Rep Arena, put up a couple SEC championships.
Mhm.
So, you can't really hate on him at the end of the day. Is my opinion. Now, do we want to move on to March Madness and the bracket
All
that
right.
just came out?
All right, so Bluegrass Sports fans, welcome to March Madness. The year is 2026, and today we'll be discussing Louisville and Kentucky and their seedings. So when it comes to Louisville, they got a 6 seed, and Kentucky, they got a 7 seed, and they're in different regions. I was looking at my bracket. What's Louisville in? Are they in the East or?
Louisville's
the
in the East. I have
They're in
it
the
pulled up
East,
right here. Sure.
Okay, Louisville's in okay, and what's Kentucky?
Kentucky's in the Midwest.
Okay, so Louisville's in the East and Kentucky's in the Midwest. Louisville's a 6 seed, Kentucky's a 7 seed, and we're going to break down. We're going to start off with Louisville since we just talked about Kentucky. We're going to start about Louisville. We'll talk about their matchups and their possible outcomes. And then after that, we'll move on to Kentucky and talk about their matchups and their possible outcomes. And then at the end, we'll come together and we'll give our own takes on how far they will go and then why we think that. So first, like I said, Louisville's a 6 seed in their first game against South Florida. DJ, how do you feel about their first round matchup, Louisville versus South Florida?
I think Louisville's first matchup. I think Louisville pulls out the W. Where is this? Where are the games taking place at?
That's a good question.
Let's see. It is in Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York. That's a random spot. All right. But
think
I do
Louisville
believe
fans will travel more for that game compared to South Florida. Louisville always has more fans than South Florida, and Louisville's closer to New York than Florida is. So I feel like if fans do travel, which I think they will, I think Louisville will have the better crowd that game. I'm sorry for interrupting, DJ. You keep going.
Oh no, you're all good.
I
So
feel like it'll be mostly Michigan State fans there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do think Louisville will pull out the victory in this game, though. Move on to the second round. Probably going to be a close game. South Florida, it's tournament time, but anyway, South Florida is a good team. South Florida is 25-8, first in the what conference at the end? It says an American conference, right?
I'm actually not sure. I really honestly have no clue. I feel like I'm
South Florida?
Yeah, they're first in their conference. I'm pretty sure it's the American Conference, correct?
I don't know why I'm not remembering
That sounds right, DJ. They are in the American Athletic Conference. They're in the AAC, and it's often called the American.
Okay, yeah. So they're one in the American. All right, but I do feel like Louisville does pull out this win. How do you guys feel about this? Do you guys think Louisville?
I would agree with that. I feel like if Mikael Brown's playing, I think it's a for sure win. Like I said in previous episodes, he's just a game changer, and especially I know South Florida. You said South Florida won their conference.
I don't know if they. Yeah.
I honestly don't think it matters. I don't think they could. I think Louisville has just better guards, better backcourt. I feel like
Conwell's going to step up.
Yeah, you got Mikael Brown if he plays. You got Conwell. And McNeely, he's been struggling recently, but it just takes one game to catch fire again.
Yeah.
You just have so many options on Louisville, and I feel like they're definitely. I'm confident in Louisville pulling off the win in the round of 64 matchup.
Yeah, for sure.
So
What do you
let's say
think,
Louisville
Kyle?
does take the win. Yeah, I fully agree. I think
That was also I did want to
hit
say
spot on.
something. I did want to say something as well with Mikael Brown being out and Pat Kelsey having to move guys around the lineup. Guys get new minutes. Guys get to move around with different people. Get to play with each other during games, and some people get minutes that haven't got minutes in early on in the season, which has showed us more players on this Louisville roster that can excel. So I feel like with Mikael Brown back in this lineup, with some of the players that haven't played as much but are now getting in, like Zugris, Zougaris was a guy from Greece. He came in, he played against Giannis back over in Greece. He's came over. He's a 6'8", 6'9", so-called center, but he came in that SMU game balling out. Was the reason why the Cardinals won. So, yeah, we'll move on from that. Sorry, I just feel like I had to said that. I missed that off in that earlier segment.
So let's say Louisville does beat South Florida, right?
They're definitely going to play Michigan State. I don't think Michigan State will lose to North Dakota State.
Not a chance.
So I feel like the second round of 32, it will be the 6th seed Louisville versus the 3rd seed Michigan State. DJ, let's get your analysis first. DJ, what do you think about this game, round of 32 matchup?
Michigan State, obviously, as we know, is a very, very good team, very dominant team, one of the best teams in the entire NCAA. They face a lot of good guys. Second in the Big Ten. It's hard to say which one, how I feel like this one's going to go. I want to give Michigan State definitely the ahead on this one. Michigan State overall, I feel like, has the better lineup, or definitely is playing a whole lot better this year, more together with their team than Louisville has. So I feel like if Michigan State goes in here and plays Louisville, I do feel like Michigan State will get the dub. That's sad to say, see Louisville go out second round, but Michigan State is such a hard team to get put up against second. I mean, you do not want to see this team pop up in your lineup anywhere. I would never want to see this team in my schedule. What do you guys think?
I agree. The Michigan State team is very good, led by Tom Izzo. You know, Tom Izzo is a very experienced coach. He knows what to do in March. Now, for Louisville, it's just a tough matchup. It's a very tough matchup. I could see Louisville taking it, though, man. I mean,
Can you?
I can.
What? Okay, Ty. Your take is you think Louisville can take it? Are you're confident, or
I
is
think
that
they
just
can? Now I'm back and forth on if they will.
Yeah.
Now,
what will need to happen for Louisville if they were wanting to beat Michigan State? What does Louisville have to do to beat Michigan State?
Score a lot of threes.
Conwell is on 5 from 3. Mikael Brown is back. You know, I think you need the Mikael Brown and Conley duo in the backcourt, you know. And then, McNeely needs to get his game on.
Yeah.
He's really got to step up.
Yeah.
Which threes are worth more than twos. So Louisville just needs to hit their threes. Now, clearly that's Pat Kelsey's game plan, and if it works great for Pat Kelsey. So we know that he can really beat almost any team in the country, but his guys have to hit threes for them to do so.
I agree. I feel like Louisville's one of those teams that lives or die by the three, and if they're hitting, they're a very, very dangerous team. I know this was all the way back in November, but, I mean, you've seen the Kentucky and Louisville game. Louisville hit a lot of threes, and that helped them get the edge over Kentucky. So my personal take, I don't think Louisville wins this game. I think Michigan State will win this game. They're just so physical, and I don't know. If, like you all said, if Louisville hits the threes, there's a way that they can win that game. But I honestly think that Michigan State will take that one, but that is just my take.
Okay, so let's say they do take it. Let's say Louisville advances, right?
Right.
Let's say, as expected, UCLA takes this one. UConn takes this one. As expected, UConn takes this one.
That'll be a closer game than most people think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as expected because UCLA is hot right now.
Based off seeding, though, I feel like we'll just keep the UConn at 2 right
there. I think UConn will win that game anyway, but I'm saying I wouldn't say as expected, though. That'll be a back and forth game, but I feel like UConn will come out on top. So go back to what you're saying, Ty. I'm sorry, but Louisville and UConn.
All good. Yeah, just saying, like, assuming Louisville takes over the Michigan State game, Louisville's going to move on to either probably UCLA or UConn. And I'm leaning more towards UConn. I think Dan Hurley's
Me too.
Not having the best year as he has in the past 3 years, but
2 seed's still good though.
They're
right,
a dominant
it
team,
very yes.
Right. Yeah.
So,
If
how
they
are you
were to
feeling
beat
about this
Michigan,
game?
if Louisville were able to beat Michigan State, they're more than likely to face UConn. And I feel like Louisville has a better chance to beat Michigan State than UConn. But man, Louisville matched up against UConn. I don't think that's a good matchup at all. Basketball is a game of matchups, and I think UConn is more physical. I mean, Louisville is guard heavy, and UConn has some big dudes in the front court. I don't know how that would play out for Louisville. I would be taking UConn in that matchup as well.
I want to play the hypothetical game of like if Louisville keeps going through, who does Louisville play next? So let's
look at it.
Let's say Louisville beats UConn right here.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Who are we feeling on this side of the bracket? So we're feeling probably Duke. Ohio State. I feel like is going to take the win over TCU. Do y'all agree?
I agree.
Yes.
St. John's over Northern Iowa, Kansas.
Yeah,
Now,
I don't see any upsets in the round of 64 in this part of the region.
I don't
Or
either.
this part of the bracket. All those teams are just too good. Like you got all those blue bloods. You got Duke, you got Kansas, you got UCLA, and I would consider UConn as a blue blood right now. And then on top of that, you got St. John's and Louisville. I don't think there's going to be one upset in this region. I really don't.
So who are we feeling for St. John's versus Kansas? Are you going with Rick Pitino or are you going with Bill Self?
I think
I'm going with St. John's.
Yeah.
St. John's. So let's say St. John's takes this game. Who's pulling it out?
Duke
versus
It'll
St.
be
John's?
Duke. It'll be Duke.
So we're going to see a Duke versus Louisville matchup.
Gosh, I hate to be the Debbie Downer of the trio here, but Louisville just has some tough matchups for this region. I don't see them going past Michigan State. I don't see them going past UConn. If they met up with Duke, I would pray for them because Duke is on a roll right now winning the ACC. Now, it is hard to beat a team. DJ, did Louisville play Duke 3 times this year, or 2 times?
2 times.
The 2 times a home and home?
Yes.
Okay.
We lost both.
It is hard to beat a team 3 times, but it's also possible to beat a team 3 times. And I do think Duke will win that game. Like I said, I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer here. Y'all can take the hot takes. I'm going with the safe route here. I'm sorry. I apologize, Bluegrass Sports fans. That's just my opinion.
No, we're going reality here, and I don't dislike your pick there. I do think that Duke takes that victory if it comes to fruition that Louisville does come up and wins all these games coming up and faces Duke. And, well, Duke does the same. But I don't see Louisville taking them out. Louisville didn't do it, obviously, in the regular season, and I don't see Louisville doing it in March Madness, especially, like you said, with the role that Duke's on. And if Duke's obviously here, they're going to be on an even further role, and they're going to be even hotter. And I just don't think that that Louisville can do it. So, Tyler, what do you think?
Man, I don't think Duke's gonna. I don't think Louisville's taking this. I'll just be honest. I don't think Louisville can take down Duke.
All right, but hypothetical, Louisville makes the Final Four.
Hypothetical, Louisville makes.
All right.
And then they would probably more than likely, looking at the region below, more than likely be playing Florida or Houston. More than likely. Things could go wrong, though. There could be upsets. But let's just do hypothetical. Let's just say the way Florida's playing right now. I know they just lost to Vanderbilt, but the way Florida, I feel like it might be Florida and Houston or Florida and Illinois.
For this St. Mary's Texas A&M game, I really feel like it could be an upset with Texas A&M taking it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
the way
Houston's
A&M's been playing, A&M just lost to somebody in the SEC tournament. Was it Ole Miss? There was a big upset. Or Oklahoma, one of the 2 teams beat them.
I really don't know.
They haven't been playing the greatest recently.
Ole Miss. Yes.
Ole Miss isn't even in the NCAA tournament. They just lost to them their last game. So,
But they almost
I
made
don't
it
know.
to the SEC championship by 3 points away from beating Arkansas. It went into overtime.
yeah.
So
So let's just put Louisville versus Florida.
Yeah.
It's just for hypothetical reasons, you know.
I don't even think we're talking about hypotheticals anymore.
okay, so Louisville versus Florida.
Statistically, one of the hardest I think Louisville has ever had to go through, and this is the gauntlet. This is the gauntlet of college basketball teams.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, this is-
I'm just going to be straight up. Florida will win that game. Louisville doesn't match up with them.
Louisville's too small of a
What-
team.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Look at all their bigs, man. What Tyler was talking about earlier, they have like 3 or 4 bigs that are just dominant, and then Louisville just has Frew, and then Khalifa.
And
So,
Khalifa only gets in 5 minutes and only passes the ball. So
Yeah, but hypothetically, Louisville wins that game.
All right.
And then, let's see. Pick one team that's on the other side of the bracket. That's just pick the
Arizona?
1 seed. Michigan,
Man,
or that'd be 2013 all over again. Or Arizona. Let's just go Arizona.
to be honest, Michigan and Arizona. But who else is on that Michigan side that I feel like there's somebody on there that could take Michigan out.
take Michigan down? Yeah, it's going to be the Kentucky Wildcats.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
It's going to be the Kentucky Wildcats right here.
We'll get in that part of a region in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going.
You know, that was just a funny
So we
little.
say Arizona versus Louisville going into the Natty.
And hypothetically, Louisville wins it all.
Hypothetical, Louisville wins it all.
Louisville.
Now,
Where's the
everybody,
flag?
Bluegrass sports fans, Todd, just kind of like walk through the step-by-step process we just made
Okay.
of Louisville's
So,
path to the national championship. Look how rough this is, man.
Louisville faces South Florida. All right. Louisville faces
That's a
Michigan
win.
State.
Ooh.
Louisville faces UConn.
Ooh.
Louisville faces Duke. Louisville faces Florida. Louisville faces Arizona to win the national championship.
Hey, it's March, but Louisville ain't making it that far. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Cinderella stories happen all the time, but all those blue bloods, you got Michigan State and St. John's to worry about, and then you eventually run into Florida and then possibly Arizona or Michigan. Yeah, I don't.
Them Cinderella runs happen in the first round.
Right. But listen, Bluegrass Sports Podcast will be rooting for the Cards. We hope they win every game. We do. We're rooting for them. But reality
Reality is they're going to win it all. Reality is they're taking it.
But reality, they're getting challenged from the round of 32 on. So we'll just have to we'll keep you updated. Obviously, everybody will be watching March Madness. So just follow us on socials and we'll keep you updated with the Cards and see how they do in March Madness. But now, Tyler, you can erase that bracket. And now we're going to move on to the Kentucky Wildcats in the Midwest region. So, Ty, break us down Kentucky's region and walk us through their first game.
Well, I believe that this is, the base case scenario for Kentucky, considering how they played this season and how they, have been placed as a 7 seed, which was expected. Kentucky getting a 7 seed was no surprise to anybody. I feel like it was either going to be a 7 or 8 seed, possibly even 9 if they wanted to throw us down there, right? Anyways, Kentucky gets faced up with number 10 Santa Clara. How are we feeling about this game?
I think that it'll be a victory for the Cats. I don't think Kentucky will struggle with this one. I think they're going to – it might be back and forth at first, but in the second half, I feel like the Cats will run away with it and probably win this game by 10 or 15 points. That's just my opinion, though.
I really don't know much about Santa Clara at all, so I don't really know how they play or what their play style is, but
From my research, from what I know, is that they have offense, but they won't be able to match up with Kentucky on the defensive end. So they'll have to live or die by their buckets. So for that reason, I think that Kentucky will win that game. DJ, what do you think about that?
I think Kentucky's going to win this game as well. Santa Clara, I also don't know very much about them, but I do know that they're 26-8 and third in the WCC. But I do think that Kentucky still goes in and pulls out this W.
294,000 people pick Santa Clara to upset Kentucky.
It's not happening. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. All right. So let's say hypothetically, Kentucky pulls out that win. Iowa State pulls out this one. Kentucky versus Iowa State. In my opinion, this was the best case scenario for Kentucky to play a 2 seed. I think Iowa State, not saying they're a bad team, but they're the worst 2 seed in the bracket.
Well, what is your prediction for this game, Tom?
Back and forth game, down to the buzzer. It's Colin Chandler 3 to seal it.
Are you calling that? Is that your hot take?
I'm calling it, man. I'm calling it. I think clutch Colin is going to come into play here.
Well, I guess we'll see about that. DJ, what's your take? I'll go last on mine. What's your take on this Kentucky and Iowa State game?
Although I do agree that Iowa State is I would say the worst 2 seed in here. I still think that Kentucky will win against Iowa State.
That's your take?
I do think Kentucky will end up taking the dub against Iowa State.
Okay. All right. So both y'all are taking Kentucky for that upset win. I'm going to be the Debbie Downer. I'm going to play it safe. I do think it will be back and forth, but I do think Iowa State comes out on top eventually and goes on to the Sweet 16. But, yeah, I know, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I think that's just going to be a tough matchup for the Cats, and I don't think they'll win that game, honestly. It's going to be back and forth, but I do think Iowa State come out on top. But – hypothetically speaking, the Cats will move on to the Sweet 16.
Cats move on.
And let's see, who would they play? Who do y'all think they would play? I mean, possibly Tennessee.
No, I think it's Virginia.
Virginia. Oh, okay.
It could be
that'll be
repeat
a good game
of last year. It could be a repeat of last year, but
I think Virginia's a good team, but
Virginia's a very good team.
Nate Ament, though, when he's hot, there's not one person that could guard him. And
he is coming off injury.
I'm just telling you, hey, watch Virginia.
We'll put Kentucky against Virginia.
Let's do it.
Just hypothetically speaking, because they're the better seed. I don't know if Kentucky matches up well with Virginia. I could be wrong. What do you all think?
I'm thinking that. Well, I obviously was very high on Virginia, as you guys could tell. I think Virginia is a very good team.
Right.
Louisville, I've seen Louisville play against them a few times. I've definitely seen them play in other games, and they are a very, very strong team. Very good shot. Every year, always got good shooters. But I do believe that Virginia comes in and will take out Kentucky if they played. Hypothetically,
I would have to agree with you on that. Kyle, what do you think? Are you rolling with the Cats still?
No. Wait. Yeah. I'm optimistic, man. I thought you're – Hold on, man. I just thought about what you asked. I thought you were going to say the complete opposite. But, no, man. The Cats are taking it. Kentucky's going to come in hot against Virginia. Coming off the number 2 seed Ohio State win, right? The Cats are rolling. Otega, putting his average 20 points a game, right? Mm-hmm. Brandon Garrison's going to knock 3 threes down in this game.
3 threes.
yeah, he's gonna have 9 points off of threes.
Well, Cats fans, that's Todd's prediction for that one. Let's see if
All
that
right,
actually happens.
I was not serious. Yeah, I was not serious about that one. But anyways,
Hypothetically speaking, the Cats move on.
Kentucky's gonna win this game. That is my prediction.
And then
Kentucky's
they would
winning.
play the 1 seed of their region, which is the Michigan Wolverines.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think the
There's
Cats
no
stand a
contest in
chance.
that. There's no
I don't think the Kentucky Wildcats stand a chance in that game. Ty, go ahead and say your spiel. We're always dropping 40.
No, this is the Colin Chandler game.
Oh,
I thought it was Denzel Abbott.
my bad. Right idea, wrong player. My bad. My bad. My
You
bad.
know, Colin Chandler's coming out, and his game plan is to shoot, 33s. Brandon Garrison's going to get on the glass, man. Brandon Garrison and Malachi Marino, both on the floor at the same time.
Mhm.
They're grabbing every rebound. It's a Colin Chandler chuck the ball up from 3 game. And he's
Well.
going to make 13 out of 26.
Hey, I'm right there with you. Kentucky's going all the way. Hypothetically speaking, which is probably not going to happen, but the Cats win this game. They're moving on to the Final Four.
What do you mean probably not going to happen? This is going to happen, man. This is going to happen. The
Bluegrass
Cats win.
sports fans would probably want that to happen, but I just don't think it will happen.
All right, man. Let's
Who's the 1 seed up top?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Okay, so just like the last Louisville breakdown, Kentucky versus Arizona again. I'll be the Debbie Downer. Kentucky isn't matching up with Arizona. Arizona takes this game, but DJ Ty, go ahead, take away your opinions.
I think my opinion's the same as yours. I think Arizona comes in and takes out Kentucky. There's nothing else left to say. Arizona's a great team. Obviously, they do great things, and I think they'll do great things against Kentucky as well.
All right, Tyler, the Kentucky analysts break it down.
Denzel Aberdeen
Kentucky's
comes
beating
in. All right, just to put this out there, this is not serious at all. My real prediction is that Kentucky loses to Virginia in the Sweet 16. But my optimistic, Bluegrass Sports fan in me says Kentucky's winning this game. Denzel Aberdeen's coming out, right?
Right.
He's coming. He's going like all in this game. This is his game. Driving to the paint. He's coming out hot. Shoots. 75% from 3 this game. Denzel Aberdeen's going to shoot. I don't know, 6 for 8.
Is that right?
Something like that.
Going crazy. Okay.
All
right.
He's going to shoot 6 for 8 from 3, right?
So hypothetically speaking, who moves on?
Kentucky.
The Kentucky moves on, and then they'll play Florida in the national championship to
No,
face
no,
Florida.
Nope.
Play Kentucky.
No. My bad. Bluegrass sports fans, my bad. So Kentucky Louisville national championship. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave it to the analysts. I'll give my take on the end.
Oh boy.
Who wins this game and how do they win it? Why do they win it?
There you go first.
Okay. With my personal opinion, I feel like the Louisville Cards will come in the national championship and take the dub if they had to play the Kentucky Wildcats. Louisville has won, obviously, previously this regular season, and I feel like Louisville can do it again. I think Louisville comes back in here and just continues on, and with Mikael Brown, I don't think we'll ever lose.
All right, Kentucky analyst Tyler Cade, what do you think about that?
You're not stopping clutch Colin Chandler in the last 3 minutes. You're not stopping hot from 3 Brandon Garrison.
You're not.
And Mo Diabate. Man, you saw 2 for 3 from Brandon Garrison, 2 for 3 from Mo Diabate coming in hot into the championship. They're both shooting like that in this game. Give me the Kentucky Wildcats.
But how much? How much do you think, though, Colin? How much do you think?
2 points.
2 points. That's honestly phenomenal. I was thinking like a 5-point game. What do you think, Drew?
In November, the Cards did take down the Cats with Mikael Brown dropping 30 points, if not dang near 30 points. Louisville shot the lights out of the ball. And if they played again, I feel like it would go the same way, which I'm tempted to take Louisville. But to keep everything calm in this podcast and to keep everything calm in the state of Kentucky, I'm going to say the Cats even out the series and take the national championship. I feel like Kentucky's a different team now than they were in November, and they have their main three. I feel like Kentucky had a lot too much going on in November. They didn't know what rotations, who was playing in what rotation. There's just so much going on. Now they have their set rotation. I feel like the Cats would take the national championship from a Colin Chandler game-winning three-pointer after Mikael Brown hit a three-pointer the play before, and Denzel hit a three-pointer the play before that, and Conwell hit a three-pointer the play before that. And it's just constantly going back and forth, but I will take the Cats in that one. But that is hypothetical. That is all hypothetical. Will I think the Cats and Cards make it this far? Absolutely not. But hypothetically, in the BGS podcast, BG Sports Podcast, I'm getting and giving the Cats the national championship. Now, that is our hypothetical brackets. Now, we're going to wrap this up real quick on our actual predictions on how far Louisville will make it and how far Kentucky will make it. So, boys, let's start off with Louisville, right?
All right.
Let's start off with Louisville.
Let's reload.
They have South Florida, first round.
We do think Louisville wins.
We all think we all win that game. All right, so
Louisville wins.
Right. So I'm going to stop it right here with Michigan State. I think they will be eliminated in the round of 32. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they go further. But my prediction is they will lose to Tom Izzo in the round of 32. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I agree as well. I do.
So we all have Louisville stopping in the round of 32?
Yeah.
All right, so Bluegrass Sports prediction. Our podcast thinks that Louisville will be stopped in the round of 32 against Michigan State realistically. But we're all hoping they go further. So we'll keep y'all updated on how it goes on socials. And now we'll head to Kentucky in their region. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. We all think Kentucky takes it? All right, Kentucky takes that game. And then their next matchup will be against Iowa State. Like I said earlier, I think they'll lose to Iowa State in the round of 32. That's my take. What do you all think?
I think Kentucky would win this one. That's what I said.
So I'm the tiebreaker. Y'all are going to leave it up to me?
Yeah.
Man.
No, but since DJ went further, we have to go further because he's not done with his prediction with Kentucky yet.
Okay.
So, Ty, what do you think? You're going with Kentucky against Iowa State?
I'm going Kentucky.
All right, so I have Kentucky stopping in the round of 32 against the second seed Iowa State, but Tyler and DJ have them going on to the Sweet 16. You all take it away with your predictions.
Okay. I do think Virginia wins Tennessee.
I think it depends on who they play.
And then I think, I do too. I think if they face Virginia, Kentucky loses. I think they face Tennessee. I think Kentucky wins.
I 100% agree with that. It's exactly what I was going to say. DJ or Drew, sorry.
No, this is my prediction's done. Kentucky's out.
Yeah, but your opinion, you can still give your opinion on that. Do you feel like if Kentucky did go up to play Tennessee instead of Virginia, they would win this time?
I feel like Kentucky's 2-0 against – when we seen this pattern last year, Kentucky was 2-0 against Tennessee in the regular season. Then Tennessee took it away from them in the Sweet 16 of the March Madness. But I just feel like Tennessee has a worse team this year. They have Nate Ament, but I feel like they had more of a team last year. So if Kentucky were able to beat Iowa State and potentially face Tennessee, I feel like they have a pretty good shot of going to the Elite Eight. So I would have to agree with you guys on that.
So let's say hypothetically Tennessee wins and Kentucky beats Tennessee in the Sweet 16.
So y'all are saying
the Elite Eight.
Y'all are saying Kentucky will lose in the Sweet 16 if they face Virginia.
Yes.
Yes.
But if they face Tennessee, they move on.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So keep going with the Elite Eight.
Michigan to Kentucky. This is where Kentucky gets knocked out.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. I think that's their ceiling for sure.
100%. Yeah.
I think we could all agree on that.
They would lose to a put together Michigan team. A Michigan team playing like a Michigan team has played all year.
Yeah.
Kentucky would lose.
I feel like, I mean, I don't feel like this is really disrespectful to Louisville. I think we're just spitting out facts here when we say Louisville just had a bad draw. Kentucky has a better draw than Louisville. Kentucky doesn't have 4 blue bloods with Michigan State and St. John's in their region. Kentucky has a better shot of going and making a deeper run. That's why we're making it this far with Kentucky. We're going to root on both teams. Do y'all have anything else to say before I wrap this up?
I think that's it.
I think we're good.
All right.
We can post the actual bracket of our predictions on our social medias.
Yes. So we're going after this. We end this. We're going to make a reel or TikTok of us making our actual real predictions of the podcast prediction. We're going to have our own brackets, obviously, but we're going to make one that where we come together and have our input on the games. So make sure to be following us on socials when it comes to that, and it means the world that you are watching us. So make sure to follow and subscribe on socials and tune in for the next episode. I'll see you all later.
Thank you.
Yep.